Hello there, kia ora. One of the things that seems to shock people the most about the US healthcare system is just how reliant it can be on crowdfunding as an option to ensure that people can have a basic quality of life. That might mean something like needing a treatment or specific equipment, for example. And it's something that's likely to be on the rise here in this country very soon after an announcement this week from Whaikaha, the Ministry of Disabled People. They made an announcement this week which limited how their funding could be allocated because, well, like every government department out there, they've got to watch the books so that the National Party and its coalition partners can give tax breaks to landlords and millionaires. They're literally taking money now from the disabled community to ensure this. Now, the government does say that they haven't reduced funding at all for this particular ministry, but there's actually a bit of a sneaky thing that's going on here. You see, by limiting the way that people can access the funds, which up until this point have been basically assigned on a case-by-case basis because the needs of disabled people, like everybody else, vary from person to person. By limiting those funds, it makes it much less likely somebody's going to be able to claim them for what they actually need, which means that that money then goes back into the pool, and when those people go to apply for funding the next year, the money is reduced because they didn't use the funding from the year before. It's kind of a sneaky way to go about trying to save a few dollars. And it comes at a cost for people who need that help the most and in much more specific ways than a lot of the rest of the population. And this is a real concern for a number of people working within the sector or who work or live with people with disabilities. Because things like respite, a break from having to do all of this work and all of the stress that comes with it, is one of the things that they're not going to be funding anymore. And that can be really, really important for people's mental health, for their physical abilities to continue doing what they're doing, for a whole raft of reasons. On top of that, there was a huge issue with how this was communicated. Like much that seems to happen with this particular government, the MP in charge of this particular area, nowhere to be seen at the time when media had questions and the public wanted answers. And the communications that came from Whaikaha itself, they're pretty bleak. It's basically a really rushed job telling people instantly, this is what's happening from now on. There's no consultation, none at all, with people within the sector and people who will be affected by this. It shows that they're rushing to make sure that this is put in place really quickly because the pressure's been put on them from outside the organization. And the people that do that is our coalition government. So they are literally putting people who with disabilities at a risky position to ensure that they can make savings somewhere along the lines to fund tax cuts for the people who don't need tax cuts, while telling us all that they're dealing with the cost of living crisis. This is unfair, and it hurts so many people. And all you have to do is look through the comments section on the Facebook page with this post that they announced before they put out even a public press release to know exactly how much hurt this has on people. And it's really concerning that this is how this government handles this kind of information. No consultation, no accountability, just making sure that something is done that's going to be much better for the books, to again pay for tax cuts that we don't need.